Well, hello folks, welcome back to the channel. I am the Custard Prophet. We're back here for our Football Manager 23 playthrough with the ABC Journeyman, back with club number 9 Coventry City. And yes, we did not move to Chelsea. They've still got Frank Lampard in charge. Don't understand how they've done this. I think possibly even 3 really poor seasons. Let's just have a quick look. And they have not sacked him. So I think they're just waiting for him to retire, basically. Yeah, look at this. They've really struggled in recent times. 8th, 12th, 6th, 10th, 8th. Really not been particularly impressive, Chelsea. In fact, we've been doing better. It makes you wonder whether that's actually a good job to go for. Or perhaps the Arsenal job will come up and we might be a good fit there. But unfortunately, I don't think our reputation is high enough. I think we've got a 3-star reputation, which isn't great. Anyway, we're starting the new season today, and we've made some significant transfers, and we've started the season pretty well. Yeah, folks, we'll start off looking at some of the transfers that we've done, which have been good. Couple of, or 3 first-teamers who have left, and we have brought in some interesting players, so I'm very interested to get your response to this. Most significant player out the door was Poirot to Chelsea for £14 million. I'm disappointed that this did not work for us. I felt, he was a fast winger. I thought he could have allowed Leo to move up top. And yeah, we did try it over the last couple of seasons. He had a chance here. We gave him some games. We just didn't make the most of it. He looks like he should work, but he didn't. So he's off to Chelsea, and so we have lost his influence on that right side. He's had a couple of good games, but that's it. Other significant player who has left is Ezekiel Issa, who has gone to Southend just for £850,000. He was a good player for when we were getting promoted, but he's not a Premier League player, unfortunately. So it made sense to get rid of him. The other player who has left, and I'm a bit sad about this one. I wanted Mick Byrne to work better than that. He's gone out on loan to Oxford, so he's going to get 6 months out in Oxford, and we'll see how he does coming back. The reason we've allowed him to go is basically because we've got someone who is better that we brought in. All the rest of the players that that have left have been on loan, and they're just some of the reserve or youth team players. So no one of significance has gone. The likes of Vines, Le Parmentier, those sort of players who are sort of background players that we're probably not going to want to keep hold of, but I couldn't sell. So that's the outs. What about the ins? So we've made a couple of significant signings up top to try and replace the likes of Poirot and Moore that we had last season, who were on loan, and we couldn't extend their loans. So this deal was done fairly early on. Luka Pujic from Dynamo Zagreb for £22.5 million. I feel he looks like he should be good. He's only 26 years old, so he's in his prime. He's getting goals for Croatia, but this is the first time he's been outside of Croatia, so it might take a little bit of time to settle down. You can see it's a slow start. He's had a couple of appearances off the bench, 1 start, and he's had 1 assist so far. His average rating is 6.83, so I think that's going to get better, but I like the looks of him. His finishing obviously is a big plus, but also things like his technical abilities, that's important. Off the ball, flair, those sort of things that are going to give him a bit of an edge around the box when he's got the ball. He's also pretty good on the ball, and physically and mentally fairly good. I don't think there's much in the way of negatives here. So I'm excited to see what he can do. He started slowly, but that's fine. The other player that we bought in is a really significant signing, though. We signed Carter Cowperthwaite from Manchester City. We managed to get him in for £33 million. Okay, he has started slowly as well. He's had 2 starts and 1 off the bench, and he has had just 1 assist. But we know he can score goals, so very, very happy about that. You can see the other signings that we brought in. We got Boris Franchetti from Rennes on a free transfer. I think this guy looks like a really good player. What I like about him, not that I would ever play him at the back, looking at some of his attributes, but he can play all the way down the centre, all the way to up top. So he can play. So he provides a real versatility in the squad, which is nice. He's mainly been playing in this position for now, and he's had 3 starts and looked pretty solid in the games that he's played in. And then we've made a couple of loan signings. The bottom 2 aren't particularly significant, and they're just there to really bolster the squad. Paying quite a lot of money for bolstering the squad, probably not the best use of money, but this one here is another important one. Jean-Luc Tolisi from Milan, loaning him for a fair expense. I think he looks a great right back, but the important thing is we are going to be signing this player at the end of the season, so that's hopefully going to be someone who is going to be really effective. But look at the pace that this guy has going down the wings. Should be a really quality player, I think. And then we'll just look at Tony Wyatt here, I think, who looks like he could develop into a good centre back. So we've got him on loan as backup, and Marian Suiso is someone who's going to provide a bit of backup on that right side, but can also play up top, because we are missing the right-sided player. We've got Leo up there. We've got Agba, who I think can play on that side, as well as the likes of Charlie Allen. But I think it's good to have a little bit more in there. So let's have a look how we've started. So you can see here, 3 pre-season went well up until August, and then we had 2 games which were absolute madness of games. Lost 4-3 away against Freiburg and then 5-4 against PAOK. So I was particularly pleased with that performance. But you look at the likes of Leo doing brilliantly, but defensively we looked a little bit all over the place. But we've started off really nicely against Brighton, a 2-0 victory there. Surprise scorer here was Spencer Lawrence, who was in the team because Long was out injured, and actually he's been involved in all 3 games. Had another good game here in against Newcastle, a 2-1 victory there. Spice and Franchetti getting his first goal for the club to win it 2-1, so pleased with that. And then we've just beaten Sheffield United 2-0, 2 early goals from Spice and Leo, and then we looked very, very strong, but we weren't able to put the ball in the back of the net to really finish the game off. So we've started off well, 3 solid performances against 3 sides who I suspect will be mid-table or maybe slightly higher. And then we've got another side coming up against Stoke we're going to play today, who is again feel like they might be a mid-table side who are struggling a little bit. They've got rid of Andrew Chin, which is a bit of a surprise. He's gone on loan to Manchester City. Didn't see that one coming. Champions League, you can see we've got some interesting ties. It starts off fairly easy. We'll play Copenhagen, but then we go away to Sporting, a game that we had a really good game, a game that we performed really well in the last season. Home against Barcelona, which might be the next game that we come back for, and then we've got a bunch of other games in there. It doesn't look the easiest draw, if I'm being perfectly honest, but hopefully we can do enough to get into the playoffs, and we'll see how things go from there. Anyway, folks, we are going to be trying to do better than last season, which is 4th is where we finished last season. So can we finish inside that top 4? That would be awesome. Carabao Cup, we have got an away tie against Manchester United, so we might be out of that quite quickly unless we can do something. We had a couple of good Carabao Cup matches against United in the last season, which allowed us to get through to the final, but I think we might struggle in this early round. I think we just need to take it seriously, and we'll just see what happens. Right, folks, let's go and play Stoke. Let's see how we do away from home here. We rarely beat Stoke in these matches. So Manchester United losing to City in the early match, and you can see other significant games. Arsenal are playing Leeds, so Arsenal are top of the table on the same points as we've got. They're the only other team to have a 100% record yet. I think away against Stoke is going to be a tough one. I'm hoping we've got enough about us to really give Stoke a bit of a game. We are missing a couple of players. Lang and Spice are out, both injured. Lang's he played the first game of the season, but he's not played much else. Taylor's slotted in there quite nicely at left back. So the side that we're putting out is Cowperthwaite and Pulisic, Long on the left, Leo on the right, Franchetti and Cortez in the centre, with Taylor, Bykov, Christensen, Tulisi across the backline, Gomez in goal, and we need to put someone else on the bench, and I think that's going to be young Wyatt there. So let's get out there. Let's see how we do here. Josh Long coming back from injury. Hopefully he can have a good game today. He's already had a couple of injuries this season, which has not been ideal. Right, we're starting off here. We've lost 5-0 against Stoke in this fixture, and you saw that one previously. So this could go anyway. Bykov does well there. Picks the ball out nicely. Felt a little bit of a wild clearance there. Bykov, he's got a good pass on him. Christensen is going to look for that pass into midfield. No, into Tulisi. I don't know how to say that. Christensen, just playing the ball nicely around the back. This is good play at the minute as we try and break through the lines. The striker beats his man, and Cowperthwaite, well, that was good defending, and we almost scored in the first 2 minutes. Cowperthwaite getting ahead of their defence, which is what he does so well. That's been his thing. Leo over the top with his header. Good, real positive start for us. Well, here comes Ramirez, possibly from that goal kick, and we've just picked it up again. Leo, that's a bit of a nothing ball, but Pulisic, I think he's got some height. He looks a bit of a big lad in the centre of attack. We're playing him in a slightly different role this time round, in the deep line forward role. Up to Long. Cowperthwaite. Could we get the ball in? Franchetti, and there it is, 1-0. Boris Franchetti, free transfer, Swiss player, from Rennes. I mean, it's a good bit of play here from the front players. Cowperthwaite couldn't get the pass in, but Taylor, lovely. Well, that's not what we want. Leo is out injured, so who do we bring on here? Spencer Lawrence is what they're suggesting. I don't know about that. I think we might try Suiso for his debut. Oh, Franchetti over the top, but that's not the right person to be playing that to. Here's Lugo. And that's a wild shot. Good pressure from... Was that Franchetti? I think it was him. I like that. Well, Suiso loses the ball. That's not ideal. Oh, dear me. That was awful defending from the right back there. He just completely got sold one there. Well, we got to half time. In all honesty, after Leo went off, we have been quite poor. We've not shown an awful lot. Suiso on the right side hasn't been the awesome player I hoped he might be, and yeah, at the back we've looked a little bit ropey. Tulisi, I think he's got some work to do to get himself into that sort of player that we want him to be. Down the wings, we've not been so great, and it's an okay performance up to now, but we need to be back to what we were in that first 10 minutes. So let's tell the players that I think we could be better. Shooting has not been good enough, we'll say that, and I think we just might come back to a balanced approach here. And I'm going to think about changes early on, I think, because I'm worried about just losing out on this. You can see Stoke have 10 shots now to our 8. So we have subbed off the substitute Suiso, who has been absolutely awful. Lawrence has come on. He's done really well on the left side. Let's give him a chance on that right side, and it's in. It's a goal. Preto. It's 1-1, and in all honesty, that probably was deserved. But hopefully bringing Spencer Lawrence on the right side might provide us with a little bit more attack. But here they come again. Lugo. We just haven't been very good at all, really, after going ahead. We've not been good enough. And if we're going to get something out of this game, and it looks almost like we are hanging on now, we need to... Oh, wow, got away with that defensively. Need to be better. Here's Long. Not going to score from here, are you? No. Right, couple of changes in the centre there. We've pushed Franchetti up top. We've taken Capethwaite off just to try and change things up a bit, change the dynamic a little bit, and maybe work a little bit better. Agba has also come on. So I think if we get something out of this, we would be very, very lucky in terms of a win. If we were able to pull off a victory from this position, unless these changes really change how we're playing, I just don't see it. Here's Pulisic, who's one of the players who has had a reasonable game here. Chilisi. Oh, he's lost the ball though. Even him, and that is the last thing we need, because we committed players forward and we still haven't got the players back. Here's Lugo. Oh, it's in. It's in. We're 2-1 down. And is that going to count? And does this tell us we have still got a little bit of a problem with the depth of the squad? It feels like it probably does, because we've had a couple of key injuries in certain places and just not been able to deal with it. And that's how it finishes. We lose the game 2-1. So first loss of the season, and you can see we were outstanding in the first few minutes of the game. Lost Leo, and the entire attacking threat that we had completely disappeared. And that is concerning. So the question is the injury to Leo a serious one? Because if it is, what do we do about that? Transfer window is shut. Well, we dropped off the top of the table. Manchester City got a win there. So here it is, Leo's injury. Out for 2 weeks. Not too bad. But what are we going to do about Leo? How do we replace him? Because the things we tried to do there really did not work. And we have lost the player on that side who I thought could play a role in there. So Capethwaite, and what's going on there? What are these performances? And you look at that from what we had previously, it just has not shown at all in the first 4 games of the season. Has been really non-existent in those games. The threat that he was showing previously just does not seem to be there at the minute. Anyway, folks, we've got work to do, I think, if we want to have another good season. And we can't be losing games like that, and we can't be putting performances in like that. We've got a good squad. We've got lots of players here. We just need to slot them in the right place. And I just worry that maybe in certain positions we haven't got the strength and depth that we need to have. And maybe we haven't replaced key players who have left, rather than we've actually just brought in players where we're strong, maybe up top. Yeah, hard to say. But some positives out of that, but not as many as I would hope. And unfortunately, that is our first little red dot on our fixture list. Anyway, folks, leave me your thoughts. Is this symptomatic of what's going to be a poor season? What do we do about it? Or who would you be playing on the right side? How would you get around that? Would you put Pulisic in, who can play on the right side? Or would you bring in the likes of Spencer Lawrence? Would you persist with Sueso? Or would you go with somebody else? Let me know your thoughts on that. Anyway, folks, I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new. I'll see you for the next one. Goodbye.